I mean, it's a sudden realization when we realise that my head is actually bigger than yours. It's like physically larger. I mean, that's just weird.
Hello, welcome to Comic Nom. I'm an absolute douchebag and I forgot my camera, so we're doing something a bit different today. But we're here to talk about...
All you need is kill, baby. Kill.
Which is a manga.
It's the original story by Hiroshima Sakurazaka, and the storyboard is by Ryusuke Takenshi. I'm sorry, guys. If ever you see, I'm really sorry. I tried.
To those of you who might not have heard of it, there's a film based on this book, and it's called Edge of Tomorrow.
Live, Die, Repeat on the cover, which is a confusing cover.
Yeah, starring Tom Cruise and...
some other bird.
Something Blunt. Emily Blunt? I can't remember her name. Anyway, I might mention that a bit later.
I've not seen it.
He hasn't seen the film, so it's kind of irrelevant. It's a story about a soldier who is obviously part of this army, and they're fighting some
a soldier who's part of an army?
They're fighting some kind of alien race, and shit happens, stuff goes down, and all of a sudden he dies, but then he wakes up at the start of the day before.
The day before the fight, yeah.
The start of the day before the day, and like he's like...
the Groundhog Days.
Yeah, it is
Groundhog Days.
It is essentially the same plot as Groundhog Day, just with, you know, Starship
Violence.
Troopers. So it's very much Groundhog Day meets Starship Troopers.
Yeah,
Should have started with that one, shouldn't I?
probably. Yeah.
But obviously, he does. It's very different because obviously it's Japanese, so there's different intricacies. There's a lot more character development, and like as he starts repeating the days, he starts doing things differently. You start to find out a little bit more about the other characters.
Yeah, you almost start to see the butterfly effect in action. How one minor change affects a larger change, which affects a larger change, and you start seeing that happening, which is interesting because it actually goes through the full day about 4 times. From the waking up to the fight about 4 times, and then it starts fast forwarding through key bits.
Like what is it? Life number? What does he call it?
Oh God, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, repeat number like 100 and something, and it's just like, he would start to lose the plot around about this time. But he ends up meeting. Is it Rita? Is that her name?
Yeah, Rita.
Who is the Full Metal bitch.
Well, in all fairness, that's her name in the English translation. Sometimes in these larger stories, they make character names easier to read, so it may not have been Rita in the original.
Good point.
It might have been something completely different, because not often, but especially, I mean, because this is by Shonen Jump, and they're pretty... I mean, I read a lot of manga, and Shonen Jump are quite notorious for going, that's hard to say for stupid English people. Let's make it Bob.
Like Aerith.
Yeah.
To Aries.
Yeah. They sometimes it's subtle, but they have been known to change them big. But yeah, look at this fucking art. Look, just fucking look at this. Fucking look at this. It's beautiful.
Like in a true kind of Japanese manga and anime kind of style, she's slim and skinny and attractive and super hot, but also incredibly fucking badass. And you just kind of like, to me, that kind of knocks back a little bit. You go, oh, typical manga trope.
In real life, a woman that looks like this could not hit you as hard as she does. It's not possible.
But as the story progresses, you find out why she can do these things, and you know why she's so badass. And it turns out, what's the dude's name? I keep forgetting his name.
His name is Keiji. Keiji. Keiji Raikyu. I'm terrible at names. Keiji, yeah. I can't do English names. I don't change Japanese ones.
Like Keiji, she's been stuck in a repeat before herself, so she's had countless days of training.
Yeah.
Over and over and over. So they learn how to hold certain weapons, how like stupid things like you get it in your thought process how many bullets you're firing before you need to empty your clip or just dump the weapon. and they've discovered that a melee weapon is the way to go because
because
you
you
don't
have
run out of
bullets.
ammo.
There's a line in it. There's a couple of bits in this book that stood out to me as being actual genius. Now I assume they're in the original novel, but I haven't read that, and I've not seen it in English. And I couldn't actually find a version of the light novel in English.
I looked myself too.
So yeah. So this is the closest thing I've got in English, and there's a couple of scenes in it which may have just been the manga or may have been from the original, where Keiji says to himself, like, it's all about the way you view a second. You can't actually have more time. Everybody gets in a fight, and if a fight lasts 10 seconds, the fight lasts 10 seconds. But if you get to the point where you're such a good soldier that every second is essentially worth more, so you see a second and you go, stop. You go, weak point, weak point, weak point. Attack vector. He's coming from this angle. I'll move. So when you break down, the only time I've seen it done in cinema is, remember the Sherlock Holmes movie with Robert Downey Jr. Shit movie, but they had this fight, and it's like the way smart people fight, and it's like stop, and it's like and it's sort of freeze frames, and that's what he does with his seconds, and he talks about how he puts each second into 3 distinct slices.
Well, it's kind of like the whole Terminator and RoboCop analysing the enemy kind of thing, but it's a more human side.
Yeah, it was just a human version of that. But that I really like that, and I really like when he starts, because at first I was like, he got to 194, did it? I think, and he was like badass to the point where you're like, holy shit. And I'm like, is that enough time for someone to be this good? Because that's like only 100, that's like 400 days, isn't it? It's like a year. So can you be that good in a year? And
but when you think about it, when you actually stop and think, like, that's literally all he's doing.
Yeah, that's all he's doing. And most soldiers, most veterans have seen combat like 7 or 8 times. It's very rare you're going to see a badass veteran, even in the most ridiculous science fiction, that's been to 194 individual battles, one after another, like within time frame.
Like, you look at the standard soldiers, is it 6 weeks training they go through before they get shipped off to combat?
And when you think that this guy, like, because at one point he sort of loses his fear of death, he'll be doing things to see physically how far he can stretch his body, which is another interesting point, that like he'll see things and fail and die, but he comes back. So he's not being cautious. He knows how far he can take it, and it's only when he thinks he's going to win the fight, he starts giving a shit about being alive.
And then the stuff with the format of which starts to develop. Like at the start, he's pretty much a loser.
He's a crappy soldier. He's a noob.
He's a grunt that can't do things right. Hence why he dies. Whereas she's like, on a completely different level. She's like a superstar.
There's that line about like she's so badass because she takes the stabilizer out of her suit, so the suit's not countering. So if she makes one mistake where she puts her foot, she falls on her ass, but she doesn't make mistakes. And you're like, they say that right at the beginning. Then he does that like 100 days in. He's like, fuck this. It just don't need this shit.
Eventually, he just starts to copy her, and she cottons on to what's happening. Because it's
not a loop for her though. This is as far as she's concerned, the last day is the first day, or every day is a one-off. So when she starts to realise that he's like her,
and naturally, a romance develops between the two of them. Whereas, like at the start, there was no way in hell she would have given him the time of day.
Yeah, but when he becomes this Terminator-style badass,
and
women really want a man that's incredibly violent. Apparently, that's what Manga taught me. Or really quiet.
Really quiet. And really violent.
Yeah.
That's like itchy the
Mate, like the cultural difference between like English relationships and manga relationships are quite stark. It's quite stark.
Well,
my advice.
I don't really want to ruin the ending.
No, I don't think we should cover the ending because the ending is too
a bit convoluted, to be honest. But
people love it or hate it, and there's quite a stretch in logic at the end.
Yeah.
However, I think that's because I feel like this needed another volume. I feel like this needed another like it needed like one of these, an extra one of these stuffed in the middle in order to make it truly amazing. Now, I've just dropped shit. Now, that said, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a great deal. I thought it was really, really, really good from start to finish. However, like I say, that extra bit would have been better. And I can also say, if you're looking at buying this and you've not read it and you want to go, I want to read that. Be careful which one you buy. This is the collection, which is volume 1 and 2. But there's actually like 2 volumes on Amazon you can buy. But if you buy the first volume, you might actually have problems getting the second volume. So you better off buying the collected edition. Because that tripped me up because I was like, is there a second version? Is there a second volume? And I had a look and I was like, weird. There's a second volume. I don't understand how. And then I started realising that it's literally they just get the book, cut it in half, and go, 2 volumes now.
Oh.
So yeah, but as a one-off, as that, it reads great. It reads like an action movie.
I read it that way. I think the downside for me is I watched the film, and that's what made me go, actually.
Well,
I'll
reading
read the book.
Reading the book made me less likely to watch Edge of Tomorrow because I'm like, I know this story now, and the bad guys in it, they're like weird beholders. They look like the beholders from Dungeons and Dragons. They're amazing. They're ace. They're really like tentally and violent and vicious, and they're wonderfully inhuman. Because part of the problem you have there's one part of the problem you have with an enemy is empathy, and he's killing a lot of them. So by making them weird TV beholders, then they're quite good, and they do make good job as well as saying like these are the bad fucking guys.
Yeah. Like, so I know I did enjoy the film a lot. I think it was a great film, and when I read the book, it was like, oh, they've changed so much in the film. But I can kind of understand why, for a Western audience, why they would change certain things, like why they're not, young.
I think
they are very young.
If you are someone who reads a shitload of manga and watches a shitload of anime, you don't need things to be Westernized after a while. Yeah. You just sort of go, okay, I'll buy it. Like, you don't need Westernized.
Because you become more used to that culture. You're more ingrained with it. Like, like badass teenage girls becomes a normal, acceptable thing that you're used to.
And judging someone by appearances when you read a lot of manga is like, you don't do that anymore. Yeah. You just go, this is a quiet, nice little girl. She's probably a death ninja.
She's probably a psychopath. Yeah.
She's probably a cyborg from the future. Stop. I mean, that's something that manga teaches you early on.
But I it's really weird for me because I'd recommend both.
What, the film and the book?
I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was great, and after reading the source where it came from,
he was like, "It's even better."
I was like, "Well, the book itself is based on the novel." Isn't it?
We haven't actually read the source.
Like, I really want to read the novel because I enjoyed the manga, and I enjoyed the Hollywood movie, and like, we just stopped and thought about it. It's like, Tom Cruise doesn't really do shit movies.
Tom Cruise, we're off topic now, but Tom Cruise, I don't think I'm not a fan of him on as a person. He strikes me as a bit of a twat, but as an actor, I can't think of a film I've seen that he hasn't been really good in. I've seen films I didn't like the Jack Reacher film. Is it? Didn't like it, but he was very good. But then Tom Cruise was also in Minority Report, which is a stonking film.
Top Gun, aka Pacific Rim,
which is just Top Gun with monsters. Yeah. So I think we've said everything we can about this.
It's like, if you're a fan of manga or even anime in any way, I'd strongly recommend you give it a go. If you're not, then I'd recommend the film. I think that's a good way to go.
I haven't seen the film, but I can't really say a lot bad about the anime other than the stretch of the manga. Sorry, the stretch of logic at the end. It's only a matter of time before this gets turned into an anime, though, because it's too high profile not to.
I mean, after the movie, you can't expect it to.
It's going to happen.
But,
So we end it. My Twitter handle is HexDSL. That's HEXDSL, but it'll be in the description below the video, I assume. And Mike's tongue is contactable on Twitter at Griff Kane.
At Spikle Kane.
Spikle Kane, which is Michael with a spike at the beginning.
Yep. So it's really kind of awkward because you kind of have to not offend people because you take the spick from Spike and the cull from Michael and you make Spikle.
Okay. What we do next week?
Xbox Live wouldn't let me have my username because it was offensive. I was like, it's not offensive.
What we do next week? I want to do some more manga. I think we should do some more manga. We did loads of Marvel. I'm not doing more Marvel.
What do you want to do? Let's do One Punch Man because the video will be really short.
Fuck yes!
The video will just be no.
You haven't read One Punch Man, have you?
Yes, I have. I read the first volume.
We can't do that. You didn't like it.
It was shit.
Let's do this. Have we done this already?
We might have done. We did one of his books. The one with the girl in the car on the journey.
Let's do this. I haven't read this yet.
Is that the T-shirt you've got?
Yeah.
Sure. I'll give anything a try.
Let's give it a go. I haven't read it, so let's. It's one of the first volume. It looks slice of lifey. It looks fun. Let's do this. So our next one will be Yo Wam Shui Pedal.
Yeah, good luck trying to say that.
Yoam, should we pedal? Should we say goodbye now?
People are going to hate us. Like, look at these fucking idiots trying to review manga. They know nothing. They're stupid. They're
I've
crap.
never said I knew anything ever.
Yeah. I read
Never
comic
claimed.
books.
I
count
like
manga as
I like
comics, so-
pictures. Bye.